The question isn't, can I make it through this Napoleon review without any short jokes? The question is, how many of them can I make? My name is Ren, and this is my review of Ridley Scott's Napoleon. Welcome back, movie fans. Thank you for joining me to celebrate the shortest of all short kings in Ridley Scott's latest epic, detailing Napoleon Bonaparte's relentless journey to power, from his checkered career as military leader to his rise and fall as Emperor of France, all through the prism of his addictive, volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. With Ridley Scott, you never really know what you're going to get. Just in 2021, he offered The Last Duel, which was fantastic, and House of Gucci, which was the opposite. It fell short of expectations. Nailed it! And yet, even at 85 years of age, this man is directing movies with more gusto and bravado than so many filmmakers even half his age are, unleashing his technical prowess for the robust action set piece by combining immersive sound design and large-scale brutality on a level that keeps topping itself throughout this entire film. There are three massive battle set pieces in Napoleon, and each of them manages to outdo the other. Knowing a little bit about people who worked on this film, in those enormous sequences, they are as brutal to work on as they look on screen. Nothing about these action set pieces, the way it's captured, the way it's enhanced with CGI, but how it perfectly blends into the frame, nothing about it fails to be impressive. The scale on which Ridley Scott works on how he captures the brutality, the viscerality of war, even at points just following an entire army walking from one city to the next, just standing looking as a city burns to the ground. You feel the enormity of it. You feel the gravity and you sense the weight, the scale of it all. And it is all around impressive. Easily some of the most memorable sequences I have seen in a Ridley Scott movie and in a movie in all of 2023. That said, everything outside these large-scale battle set pieces is a confusing blend of entertaining and boring, but the overall result is a frustrating misfire. And do not get me wrong, Napoleon is an impressive, polished production, and Ridley Scott's stamp as a director is all over it. The lavish costumes, the elongated sequences, the enormous production and intricate set design of it all. You can tell the money was here and you can see it all on screen. He does a fantastic job at bringing the times and the customs of a period in history to life. And I was even caught off guard by his portrayal of Napoleon himself. This is a man that is very controversial in history. Some people love him, some people hate him. Ridley Scott clearly has an opinion of him because he portrays Napoleon as this pathetic, sorry excuse for a man with a fragile ego that is obsessed with being more than he already is. In a way, this is a uniquely raw but fascinating portrait of who turns out to be a hilariously pathetic man caught between the duty to his country, his own ego, and his desire, lust for power. One of the aspects I love about Ridley Scott's Napoleon is that it's not self-aggrandizing at all. This is not a film that hero worships Napoleon, but truly shows the man behind the hat that is too big for his head, and I nailed the other one. Personally, I was pleasantly surprised Ridley Scott chose this lens through which to depict Napoleon Bonaparte. Number one, because I just never thought he'd take that approach, but number two, never would I imagine Joaquin Phoenix signs onto this film with that in mind. However, Phoenix's pathetic and often hilarious performance constantly clashes with the film's tonal self-seriousness. They do too good a job showcasing how pathetic, how much of a loser a man Napoleon Bonaparte was, especially in the sequences with his wife Josephine, played by the underutilized, inconsistently written, but brilliant Vanessa Kirby, who steals this film. The scenes focusing on Napoleon and Josephine's wedding are so bizarrely put together and jarring on so many levels. The dialogue is straight out of a bad soap opera. The staging feels so awkward and theatrical, and the performance from Phoenix forces him to go from devious tactician on the battlefield to petulant child whenever he's home. There is a clear point to it that Scott is trying to make, but the performance turns so inconsistent that both sides of the character start to become unbelievable. When you have a film that its entire structure is political struggle, marriage problems, battle, political struggle, marriage problems, battle, and so on and so forth. But none of these sequences feel like they build onto the next. They're not amounting to a point that he's trying to make. It's like you're reading a Wikipedia article, and that's what you get when the film has so much plot that it spans decades of this man's career to the point he's exiled twice, and I thought the film was over when there was still half an hour left. So right there, I just missed the joke about wanting this film to be shorter. And there's a 4-hour cut of this film somewhere, and I don't know that I have the balls to watch it. And with so much plot, spanning about 25 to 30 years of Napoleon's life, you'd expect an actual story to be in there, wanting to say something about one of the most interesting figures in history. Controversy aside, Napoleon Bonaparte is a very interesting figure, but the film doesn't allow you to be compelled by anything, by him or anyone else. It lacks any depth. It feels as if Ridley Scott is trying to offer us his version of The Fall, but for Napoleon. But he's telling a story across so many years of this character's life, from his young age as a military tactician, to being a married man, to being Emperor of France, to being exiled, to coming back. And it's not the last days of Napoleon. There is too much crammed into this that blocks away any of the interesting story that could otherwise exist. Easily one of my biggest disappointments of the year, a film that I so wanted to love. But to me, apart from the superficial and the expected set pieces Ridley Scott can deliver, there's just not much here, and it's immensely frustrating. And so, as I dive into my final thoughts on Ridley Scott's Napoleon, it's time for you to start the conversation about it in the comments below. Are you excited for Napoleon? What is your favorite Ridley Scott film? And what is an historical figure you'd love to see a movie made of? Let me know in the comments below. Start the conversation. And if you're enjoying this review, want to see more like it, want to just talk more movies and TV with me, this is the place to be. Consider clicking that subscribe button, and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Ridley Scott's sense of scale to craft massive set pieces continues to awe and inspire, but Napoleon fails to weave any level of immersion or investment. This not-so-epic crams decades worth of plot into a formless structure with no actual story, topped by bizarrely laughable dialogue and underwhelming performances. I'm giving Ridley Scott's Napoleon a C-. Thank you so much for watching. To all short kings and queens out there, let me know your thoughts on Napoleon in the comments below, and big shout out to my channel members for always supporting the channel. I'll be back very soon with more videos, and so until the next one, love each other and love the movies.